Hello and welcome to another episode of Melbourne by Transit. This is the series that encourages you to leave the car at home and explore Melbourne by train, by tram and by bus. My name's Dean and today I'm coming to you from Mont Albert. Before I start, I will note that there's a reason I'm recording this video today and not in a couple of months' time. I'll get back to that later, but first let's start with some Mont Albert history. Mont Albert is a suburb of Melbourne located about 11 kilometres east of the CBD. Prior to Europeans, the area around Mont Albert was occupied by the Wurundjeri William clan. The name means people of the white gum tree. The first European settlement took place in the 1830s in the form of pastoral leases. The area was first surveyed in the 1840s. The first road and sale of freehold land took place in the 1850s. Whitehorse Road was established in the 1860s and the rest of the main grid pattern roads in the late 1870s. The first reference to the suburb's name comes from a small hill called Mont Albert, which is located in the western part of what is now the suburb. The Albert was likely named for Prince Albert, who was Prince Consort and husband of Queen Victoria. I imagine he may have been quite chuffed at having this honour. And then, oh, that's probably a bit unnecessary. Let him have this one moment in the sun. And she's just doubled down. Right then. Moving on to the Mount part of the name, the suburb and the station when it first opened was known as Mont Albert. It was very quickly changed to Mont, which is the French version of Mount, probably as a marketing ploy I would imagine. I often do wonder though how a place with an elevation of 110 metres ever gets to be named a mountain. Maybe I'm just making a mountain out of an Albert Hill. The railway was extended through the area from Camberwell to Lilydale in 1882, but there was no stop at Mont Albert at this time. An early plan of the Warrington Heights estate shows a planned station, but that was to be located at Elgar Road and not at the current location. In 1888, the line was duplicated through to Box Hill. A group of local landowners raised the funds for the station construction, and it was first opened in August 1890. The station building on the south side of the station was built in 1911 and remains as the oldest railway building in the local area. More on that shortly. The line was electrified in 1922 and the third track was added in 1971, and this allowed for express trains to bypass some stops. Traffic flow at Mont Albert Road was controlled by a gatekeeper. Both the gates and the gatekeeper were replaced in 1962 by the automated boom gates. And that brings me back to why I need to record this video today and not in a few months' time. You see, Mont Albert Station is about to be demolished. The level crossing removal project is currently in the process of removing level crossings on Mont Albert Road and Union Road. And to do this, they are lowering the track below the current road level. The current stations of Mont Albert and Surrey Hills will need to be demolished as part of the process. And as they are only about 750 metres apart and on a curved area of track, they are being replaced with one central station to be named Union Station and will be positioned partway between the two current stations. So if you want to be able to say that you stopped and walked on Mont Albert Station, you have a very limited time frame to do so. Of some good news though, the station building at Mont Albert Station will be carefully dismantled and reassembled at a new concourse to be built in the area. The current estimates show that the station is due to close in mid-February 2023. But whether or not you've made it in time to visit the station, Mont Albert will still be here and there's quite a bit to make your visit worthwhile. The main shopping area is located on Hamilton Street and Mont Albert Road. There is a small supermarket, greengrocer, butcher, the usual assortment of services, and at the cafes it's just a little light to sit here and watch the world go past. The whole street has this beautiful community vibe which is just really hard to put into words. One store of particular note is Milsims Games. They are well known throughout Melbourne and packed to the brim with games and puzzles. Now I've seen this store behind me quite a number of times as I've passed through Mont Albert on the train going through to the city, but I've never actually stopped to have a look inside, but today I'm going to do just that. But after going in and talking to the man behind the counter, I was in for another surprise, and not a good one. For although the store was filled with magazines, books, models and historical railway memorabilia, they too are closing down towards the end of January 2023. That means you have a very short time to get in and send these guys off with a bang. You may never see the likes of this sort of store again. There is also the Heritage Walking Trail, which will take you around many interesting places around Mont Albert. And Mont Albert Road is a beautiful tree-lined street. Hello, someone's a bit too happy to see a beautiful tree-lined street, I think. You can also get to Mont Albert via the 109 tram, which travels along Whitehorse Road. When first established, the tram number was originally number 42. The route was first established in 1913, but only extended to Mont Albert in 1916. As part of Moomba in 1982, the play Storming Mont Albert by Tram was performed by a specially chartered Route 42 tram from the Mont Albert terminus to the city and return. The play was centred around Connie the conductress and a cast of misfit characters that board the tram over the journey. Why hasn't this been done again? I'd love to see a play on a tram. In 1993, tram routes 42 and 111 were combined to the route 109, and the service now continued through to Port Melbourne. In 2003, the route was extended to Box Hill, and the extension was the first in Melbourne to have raised platforms for easier wheelchair and pram access. The 284 bus also travels along Whitehorse Road, connecting Doncaster to Box Hill, whilst the 766 bus connects Box Hill to Burwood via Mont Albert and Surrey Hills railway stations. And that brings us to the end of another episode of Melbourne by Transit. Thank you very much for watching. If you've got any ideas about places you'd like me to go around Melbourne that I can get to by train, tram or bus, then leave them in the comments below. I will read them, and it might encourage me to get out there a little bit quicker. Now also, if you do have time to come out here to Mont Albert, just spend an hour or so just wandering around, have a look at this wonderful station before it disappears forever.